What's up, world? Once again, it's your boy J. Paul here to recap last week's Marquez Pacquiao trilogy and touch a little bit on UFC 139 coming up with the Henderson Shogun card. And as well, starting off with the Chavez Jr. Manfredo fight coming up. Nothing special here. I think they're they're doing with Chavez Jr. what they did with his old man, at least for the first part of Chavez Sr.'s career, is handpicked a lot of opponents in an effort to just kind of build up his record, or protect his record rather. So I think big fights, are on the horizon for Chavez Jr. rather. Just not anytime soon. They're just building it up for whatever showdown that might be one day. Who knows? But anyway, as for the fight itself and the prediction, I'm going to take Chavez Jr. by unanimous decision, because one thing is for certain: this kid has zero pop in his punches, and it sounds like I'm drinking the haterade a little bit. I'm really not. I'm just calling it like I see it. This guy, he really couldn't punch his way out of a wet paper bag, seriously. So he won't get even Manfredo out of there. So yeah, unanimous decision, 117, 111, 116, 112, however you want to call it, but he'll keep his title for now. And I guess sticking to boxing, the recap of Marquez Pacquiao trilogy. Once again, I was right. Not 100% right, but like I called it, Pacquiao took it. And a lot of people are going to have a problem, or at least the people that tune in are going to have a problem with my analysis of that fight. It's hard to make a case against a title holder who outlands the challenger by 50-something punches total, which he outlanded him by 50 punches total and like 20-something power shots. So, that just depends on if you're in the CompuBox or not. Some people are, some people aren't. Regardless, it speaks to the point that the fight was nonetheless close enough to where Marquez didn't do anything definitively to take the champion's title away, which that's the name of the game if you're a challenger. We all know that. We've been watching boxing long enough to know that if you're the challenger and you don't get a stoppage or a knockout, you have to get a definitive decision. Sorry, but again, it's like walking uphill on skates if you've been outlanded by 50-something punches by the title holder, when it's time for the scorecards to be read. I predicted actually a 116, 112 type of fight, and incidentally one of the three cards was 116, 112 off one of the three cards in which 0 judges found Marquez the winner. Coincidental. Anyway, but I will say this: I was a little off in how dominant I thought that the Pacquiao fight would end up. Marquez certainly looked good, counterpunching. Really baited Pacquiao into fighting his style of fight, which, another thing, people are taking a lot out of this performance from Pacquiao and applying it to, what a fight would, a fight with Mayweather. He would not even come, he would not fight this style of fight. He would not be baited into a Mayweather style of fight. At least there is some aggression in Marquez's game, which, kind of baits Pacquiao, into that style of fighting, and then he tends to get countered a lot. But Mayweather has no, zero aggression, and I believe that, I like to use the term kitchen sink. Well, Pacquiao would throw the kitchen sink at Mayweather, who does not do well with punches and bunches, and people that go to the body, and just really don't give him time to, counter or come up with a game plan, give him breathing room, if you will. Think fights with, you know, both fights with Castillo, you know, the first one which he definitely should have lost, and with De La Hoya, another close fight. You know, both times, you know, there were just, you know, attacks to the body, just not a lot of breathing room, made him uncomfortable. I think that's what would happen there, and I don't think you can take anything away from this performance and apply it to what would happen in a fight with Mayweather. That's apples and oranges, and I think it would be a rather, not only would Pacquiao win, but it would probably be a destruction with inside of 5 rounds. Because another thing is Mayweather does not have a very solid chin, and when I say that, the first thing that pops in my mind with the fight with Hatton, the first round, Hatton landed somewhat of a really short left hook and staggered him. So I don't know. I just look at that. I'm getting off track here, I know, but you know, tough break for Marquez, and there could be a 4th fight. I don't think so, but that's kind of what's become of this trilogy. Is, let's face it, guys, Marquez and Marquez's camp are not going to be happy unless they go out and knock him out or get a stoppage, because anything less of that, they're going to cry robbery. I mean, that's kind of the theme that's been set. You know, whether the fights are close or not, if it goes to the cards in a Marquez-Pacquiao fight, he's going to claim he was robbed. So, you know, I'm tired of it. You know, the chess matches I've never been a fan of. Some people, you know, boxing purists, I understand, like it, and it makes for, I guess, somewhat interesting fights. But, you know, I like definitive, you know, knockouts or stoppages, or, you know, at least completely one-sided decisions. So I really think stylistically they don't make for a very entertaining fight. I mean, you know, so yeah, I don't think there at least should be a 4th fight. I think they should, you know, continue to make moves with Pacquiao Mayweather. I still think that Mayweather won't take the fight, and it looks like Tim Bradley's next for Pacquiao. Exciting, right? At least we get to see Bradley get his comeuppance that he very much deserves. Anyway, enough of that. Done with the boxing part. I'm really not too much into making MMA predictions, but I figured I'd touch on a couple of fights on this card, which, by the way, is stacked. It's named, I think, lights out for a reason. Potential for a lot of knockouts. Henderson versus Shogun. You know, Shogun coming off the, I guess you could say, impressive victory over a very shot Forrest Griffin. You know, I still can't etch that loss of, you know, that he took to John Jones several months back out of my head. You know, that's kind of what I'm looking at as far as where he's at. Henderson really hasn't had an embarrassing performance since the Jake Shields loss, you know, well over a year ago. Very impressive win against Fedor, and really a guy that you know, he's almost 40 years old. He's certainly beaten Father Time, and you know, he's fighting like he's in his 20s. Keeping it brief, I'll take him, and I'll take him by knockout. I think he'll find a home for the right hand. I'm going to leave a couple of the other ones alone. Smart money pick of the week would be, I'm taking Rick Story by 1st round knockout over Martin Kampmann. That's the smart money pick. I don't know if you're into online gambling, whatever, you know, bet a couple bucks with your friends, whatever. Rick Story by knockout, definitely. That is a lock. 1st round, you know, you can pick and choose between that. I'm saying it's going to be in the 1st round. I'm guaranteeing it. So, till next time, I'm out. Shouts out to my boy Chris, and, you know, everybody else that tunes in, man. I appreciate it. And I'm just out here doing it. So, until next time, later.